Ed Kim just provided the Terra Luna Classic community with a much needed update regarding decentralization. Let's dive into what's going on and most importantly, why we need to care about this. Let's start by going over this thread that was put out by Ed Kim. He starts by saying, please take note that Allnodes is doing their part to help with the decentralization of the network by raising their commission to 10% starting today. However, staking is a two-way street, and this is where you, as a Terra Luna Classic community member, need to take action. It is also the responsibility of a community member to redelegate in order to spread out the voting power. He then encourages people to research and delegate with validators that prioritize security and growth of our ecosystem. He then makes another really important point that some people are missing. In this case, I would stress the community look beyond the top 15 validators in particular. If sufficient voting power does not distribute in the next couple of weeks, other algorithmic solutions are being discussed and will be brought forward. It's because it doesn't help if you go from Allnodes to another, say, top 5 validator. It only really helps if you go from Allnodes to smaller validators. That way that voting power gets spread out. And I'll show you guys some of those stats here in just a second. And as far as the other drama going on, they're still trying to catch up to see what the root issues are. Things on the surface are not always as they seem. This, I believe, is regarding just to the overall drama of Allnodes having the validator keys for those who host with them and some other potential security threats of voting power centralization. Okay, so this page really helps emphasize why it's so important to start looking outside those top 15 validators. This page is showing the top 10 validators voting power combined. You can see that these top 10 validators have a total of 65% of the voting power, which means if these top 10 validators, for example, all agreed on one thing, they could theoretically control how the network operates, not necessarily in a malicious way, but these couple of validators have so much influence. When we have such a large set, we have well over 100 validators, yet these top 10 determine what happens with the network. We actually see some stats for Allnodes specifically and see how their voting power has been affected. We can see the delegations over the past month. They started out roughly around that 165 billion Terra Luna Classic staked with them. You can see it has definitely dropped, but you're still looking at going down to about 155 billion, less than a 10% decrease. You can also see this concept on this other page where we see Allnodes number 1 as far as the largest loss in voting power change over a single day, losing 2.6 billion delegations. However, here's where we start to run into some of that problem. When we switch this to the biggest gainers, we can see top gainers. Well, first off, we have the 4th biggest validator right here, which is a problem. Then we have Classy's Cryptosphere number 8, and then Crypto King Burn and Build number 16, Terra Vita number 13, and only one of these out of this group, the Toxic Labs DAO, they're the only one out of these top 5 gainers that have less than 1% voting power. And there's a lot of validators on our network that have less than 1% voting power. When we look at this list, 1% voting power cutoff, that's basically top 20. We have over 100 validators on this network, well over 100 validators. You can see the list as we scroll down here. So many validators that have less than 1% voting power. Some have less than 0.5% voting power. These are different validators that would be great options for you to do your research in, figure out, hey, are they active in voting, yes or no? You can see this column right here on this website provides that information. You might want to find yourself a validator like this one. Hey, for example, I've never researched this one, but maybe you're scrolling through a list and you see this one's active in voting. They don't have a lot staked with them. Maybe this is a validator you want to go with. I don't know. You have to look at how are they voting. It's up to you to do your research as to who you stake with, but I'd highly encourage you find validators that are active and not within that above 1% voting power, that top 20 group. By the way, if you guys are getting value out of this video, please consider smashing the like button down below. Another interesting thing is that if we look at these top gainers, what do they all have in common? Well, commission rates. We can look at this right here, and I think you guys can see where this is going. 0%, 0%. Surprisingly, we have a 5%. 0%, 0%. Then if we scroll down, we just keep looking. What about the other ones? 10%, 0%, 5%, 0%, 5%, 0%. You can see very clearly half of these validators that have gained a significant, or the majority of the ones up here who gain the majority of these delegation changes, these are 0%. 4 out of these 5 top ones are 0%. And then once we go outside of that, it still is a lot of 0% commission validators. Now, when we look at the Terra Luna Classic staking rewards, you can see that right here. We're looking for just the LUNC rewards, not counting all the other stable coins or what are supposed to be stable coins, USTC, some of those other currencies that you get rewarded as part of staking. Just looking at Terra Luna Classic, you're looking at about 12.5%. If you factor in all the other tokens, you're looking at about 15, 16% total yield on your staking. Now, if you pay a 5% commission, this is something that I feel like a lot of people don't know. If you pay 5% commission on 15, 16% rewards, you're literally talking about less than 1% annual yield. 1% annual yield on your money that is going towards the validator over the course of an entire year. It's not like they're taking 5% out of your 15% when they have, for example, this one right here with Toxic Labs DAO. It's not like they get 5%, you get 11%. That's not how this works. However, just because people don't want to see that less than 1% annual yield change, they're staking with these 0% commission validators, which I think is a problem. And we can't necessarily blame them because, well, that's how the system works. This is how the free market works. At the end of the day, it's up to the delegators if we're going to put our money with these different validators. And so at the end of the day, I think it's really good that Allnodes is taking some of these steps to raise their commission up to 10% over the next couple of days. This will go from 7 to 10. I think that's a good step because when you look at voting power, they have over double the next validator's voting power. It is a significant gap in how much control they have or potential control over the network. And again, I don't think they're going to act malicious, but it is good for us to make sure that we're decentralized and pushing for that as much as possible. This will allow a wide range of different ideas, a wide range of different possibilities to actually open up for Terra Luna Classic. I'm actually really glad that Ed Kim is pushing for these different delegators and validators to try and get more decentralization in our network. And he's really encouraging people to look outside those top 15 validators, because when we look at this and we go, top 15, we scroll down, we're talking sub 1% voting power real quick on this list. And then even after that, it just falls off extremely fast as well. And we have so many of these validators down here that are less than 0.5% voting power, which is just kind of unfortunate. If you guys enjoyed this video, check out this video up here, and I will catch you all in the next one.